Say, kids, what time is that?
The future is coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on, it's coming
And we're coming on to you from Aptosia land here today. It was a beautiful sunny day about an hour ago.
Yeah, and then reality set in. We started looking over the headlines, and here's the fog.
Mists, but I prefer to think of it as mists of Avalon.
Mists, yes,
Yeah.
just a little bit of extra moisture and tears between us and the rest of the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Bobby in San Francisco, who no doubt is experiencing a similar weather pattern.
Yeah, there's fog. It looks like it could break, you know?
It does.
can
It's on
see-
the edge today.
It's on the edge, yes.
Yeah.
Yesterday was beautiful, though.
Yes, it was so beautiful yesterday. And we have our friends touring California for the first time today, and they're going to Big Sur. It'll probably be a little foggy there. But that's what Big Sur is famous for, too, is just some of this very misty, moody feeling into nature. It's kind of nice. I mean, when you think about it, how just a mile away, people are in the sunshine, and in just a little further inland in California, it gets very, very hot. And we get to be in this cool breeze so close by. Really cool, these microclimates.
It's automatic air conditioning.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, yeah. With no easily controlled thermostat.
Yeah.
You got to take what you're given so far. So it's been a really eventful week, and I'd be remiss not to mention some of the big news, but I really don't want to focus on it. There's so many cool Renaissance science stories happening.
Bless the peacemakers and bless the people who are trying to create peace on earth, and everybody in the media who's calling for war and calling for violence and calling for death, and people who even are not condemning murder. I really feel sorry for the world you're going to create with all those bad intentions. And I hope that we find a way back to a peaceful, loving creation.
Some people predict that if you really believe in a more of a death mind than a life mind, then literally reality will split and you'll live in your own dimensional existence. And it could
Sure.
just be, if you believe in multiverse, that such splits could happen.
Yeah, well,
I'm not saying that that's what it is, but that theoretically could split reality.
you think that reality is a sort of a democratic process, and whatever you vote for, that's what you get?
If you look at it in terms of quantum consciousness, it's like Schrodinger's cat. Does the observer affect the outcome of things? It really depends. If we are going to go to a higher level of vibration where we go into a different dimensional reality, the people that can't accept that, they will go to their own
Resonance field.
Yeah. In other words, they're saying that this fifth dimensional field, there can be simultaneously existences on
Yeah.
the same planet.
Well, especially if everything is composed of consciousness, and then consciousness has all these instances of manifestation. So
Yeah.
it's a constantly exploding radiant, which is like a root that's growing new tendrils all the time.
I mean, what they're saying is possibly the 3I Atlas
Interstellar
asteroid
object.
comet that's coming, that's interstellar,
Yeah.
could bring, and it's coming from the center of the galaxy.
Yeah,
So
it's coming
it
from
could-
someplace that's at 7 billion years old, as opposed to
Yeah.
our little part of the galaxy. We're only like 4.6 billion
And
years old.
closer to the black hole.
Big Brother.
Yeah.
Talk about Big Brother. We're talking about interstellar Big Brother.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because we're made of material that's much newer than this thing that's coming toward us that's almost twice as old as we are. Mm-hmm. And so maybe it's bringing some kind of radiation that's coming toward our sun, and then that in turn is converting our sun to radiate some kind of high frequency radiation that we're not familiar with before onto the Earth.
So imagine that this 7 billion year old visitor to our solar system is like a galactic mentor to our star. And our star has to show what it's learned during the last 3.5 billion years since it was born to this mentor. It's like going to soul school. And so since this mentor is getting closer, the sun is realizing that now is the time it has to show up. So it's getting brighter and brighter and turning on more and more solar powers and turning up the solar wind and affecting more of the planets by getting them to shape up and sending little energy their way. In the last few days, there's been huge solar flares, but they've been directed at Mercury, which luckily happens to be on the other side of the sun from us right now, so it's not coming towards us. But boy, we'd be having some very different conversations if it was coming here.
That's right. There are these huge, massive solar ejecta flares that are being put off on the other side of the sun right now. And the sun is spinning slowly toward us too. So we're kind of lucky. We missed some really big ones.
Well, we think it's luck, but it might be the sun is really just trying to show off the Earth as a darling of consciousness where it's got all these other dead planets that it's carrying. You know?
Well, I got to ask you this. Rock that's 7 billion years old as opposed to 4 billion like ours.
You're talking about Three-Eye Atlas?
Yeah, Three-Eye Atlas. Is it possible that it's advanced enough that rock itself has sentience? More sentience than...
big time. I think that there's a certain percentage of intelligentsia on planet Earth among humans and maybe other dimensionals that recognize that consciousness expresses itself through various levels of intelligence. And those levels of intelligence, some are called densities. And those densities represent what kind of intelligence is expressed. And in the book Initiation from Elizabeth Hayes many years ago, she talked about the densities of consciousness and rocks being the first density of the crystalline layer of self, where there's just a recognition of simple patterns and forms, and that level of manifested creation is the first density. There's like one dimension that makes it what it is. And then that is the stepping stone for evolution to higher dimensions.
Do you think it might be carrying some water from another solar system?
Yes, I do. I think that water is present at every dimension. And
what information can water store?
I think water is the element that connects memory to manifestation. So I think manifestation imprints water with the history of its progress to how it is now. It's sort of like every snowflake is a unique imprint of a particular ray of manifested identity.
You think water has an archive of its history?
I think water is an archive of its history.
It's part of the archiving system of...
Yeah.
What does that make this planet then? A water planet?
Yeah, we're a library. We are a very rich circuit of information access in the water imprinted universe.
So we're like the Earth is like the Library of Alexandria?
Yes, it's the library of the solar system.
Yeah, I see.
The library of soul.
Well, maybe the solar system and beyond.
That's right. That's right. Wherever we can accumulate a bunch of water, we have a lot of options that aren't available in the desert worlds.
Yes, at least in the local sector here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I definitely believe that about the universe.
Okay, well, then we're off to a good start with today's stories.
Yeah. Good segue, huh?
Yeah.
So I take it we're going to skip this Trump executive order and go straight
to
to the asteroid stories.
Well, let's just say our summary of the Trump executive order that quietly declares that NASA is now a spy agency. To me...
So here we were looking up, and he was down here on the Earth changing NASA around.
Yeah, well, we do have our opinions on some of this. Just to briefly, it looks to me like there's some kind of battle going on between NASA and the Space Force.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of,
and of course, Space Force is Trump's baby because he added the sixth branch of the armed services, and he doesn't want NASA competing with them for money because money, of course, is what Trump is all about. He's going to decide how to make money, who gets money, who loses money. He's all about the money.
Who wants money?
Who wants money? Well, he's not in charge of that because basically he thinks anybody who wants money should come to him and cut a deal that he approves of.
It's the kingmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. For that world, yes. But as we were talking before, there are many worlds within worlds here.
Yeah, but anyway, so this is something that surprised us that
Yeah.
NASA, the beloved darling of American futurists, and that has such a rich history with diplomacy around the world and creating a brotherhood, sisterhood, union of all humanity. And now our current administration wants to choke it dead and turn it into a war agency. Mr. Peace, Mr. President of Peace is like making sure that America is turning into the empire. It's such a betrayal.
Well, it's a mirror universe, right?
It's
Everything
betrayal.
is the opposite of what...
Oh, okay. So he just
Yeah, there's
names
a
things the opposite of
Well,
what
it's
he's trying to
pretty
do,
consistent,
huh?
pretty
It's like
consistent.
throw the enemy off by hiding under their
You
noses.
can't complain about it. Just notice it. And,
Do I sound like I'm
a little
complaining?
keto, a little keto.
A
Anyway,
keto. Okay.
There was not a Department of Defense before World War II, and it was always called the Department of War. And then when you have 1984, it was supposed to be the Department of Peace, but they actually named it the Department of Defense after that. And so it is this 1984 speak where,
Yeah.
things are opposite
So you
of
think
what
Trump is just trying to straighten it out and tell it like it is?
it could be. Yeah. For sure, NASA has been doing some of this thing that the Space Force was doing all along. And we did have special...
Well, and if we look at why does Trump rename things anyway, it's not just because of the propaganda headline purposes. It's because literally there are legal documents attached to things with different names. And when he changes the name, suddenly there's a lot of dispute around whether those legal documents apply or not.
Yeah, that's fun, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, could
I never saw that. Yeah, I never-
Could it be also that the space race is heating up once again? Like we had in the
big
60s?
time.
Only this time it's like boots on the moon and then boots on Mars.
Oh, yeah. Trump is really afraid of coming in third in the World War Department.
And from what I can see, if that's what really he's really interested in, then well, where's the money in Mars or where's the money in the moon? And from what I can see, there's apparently a huge metal deposit down by the South Pole that all the countries
Metal
are
or hydrogen?
metal.
Oh, okay.
Metal. It's like an asteroid buried itself. Huge chunk of possibly very valuable metals that are just sitting there. So I think
So valuable that it's worth leaving the earth and getting up there and mining it and bringing it back.
Yeah, in the level of gold and platinum.
Okay, so money, huh? We're
I
going to
think
have.
there's that element. I don't think that's the only motivation for speeding up the race, but if you look at it from a financial point of view, that's one of them. The other is the H3. H3, which is
Yeah.
the abundant
Hydrogen.
supply of fuel for
Ionized
fusion
hydrogen.
reactors, which we are on the verge of creating.
Right. Yeah.
And
Okay.
a
But
little
of
bit
course,
there.
nobody thinks Trump is scientific enough to care about H3, but he certainly
Well, he understands-
knows who does understand the science well enough to listen to their advice if he can make some money on it.
He understands fuel, and it could be the fuel industry might be interested.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're the biggest industry. I mean,
Yeah.
they eclipse all the other people that are in
And
the
if they're
headlines.
interested in energy of the future, that's going to be one of their interests. You know.
Sure.
It might not be the first one, but it's obviously easier to get energy from the planet than off planet, at least at this point.
For those of us who are on the planet, yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me, Tesla was thinking about how the Earth was like a giant dynamo. And if you knew how a dynamo works, you could harness that energy.
Sure. Yeah, in my little channeled book, The Golden Lake, it was talking about Mars and a previous civilization on Mars before the civilization on Earth, where Mars actually had a beautiful civilization in a very mellow, lovely environment similar to Earth, plenty
Yeah.
of water, plenty of atmosphere,
Yeah.
and underwent a giant catastrophe which caused the planet to lose its atmosphere and stop rotating and stop having that beautiful environment. And there was actually a mission of extra-dimensional extraterrestrials to restart the atmosphere on Mars, and that
Sure.
mission failed because they didn't have the technology that was required for planetary restarts.
So they all got in lifeboats of the time and came to Earth, and which was
Well, part of the characterization of these forgotten civilizations that preceded our Earth before our amnesia.
The battle between Mars and Malakon.
Is that there were multiple star systems and there were multi-planetary civilizations for billions of years that seeded life on Earth and life on Mars and life in many star systems.
It's kind of like Star Wars a long time ago.
Yeah,
big.
Right.
Yeah,
a long time ago in a far, far away galaxy, our forefathers.
Let's just say that's all actually has
seeding life on our planetary foremothers.
Exactly. Yeah. So there are a lot of models of looking at Star Wars type civilizations and universe in science fiction too.
Yeah, and I love the way that we can expand our view of science and of humanity through just looking at a larger time scale. Go back instead of 4.5 billion years, which is inconceivable, to 7 billion years with 3-Eye Atlas and start talking about a universe that's even older than the one we think is old.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's that. I never really thought that we were that young until I realized how much older much of the galaxy is, just even in our galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't really want to talk about this story much, but it looks like we covered a few other elements.
Oh, well, we're just talking about, talking about space.
Yeah, that's true.
And we like to talk about space here on the Dr. and Mrs. Future with our buddy Bobby Wilder.
So, spy agency, I will say this about NASA being a spy agency. A lot of good scientists are actually spies. And they're not actually spies for...
They're spies because they're not telling nature what they're looking at.
Other humans. No, they're spying on nature.
Sneaking that knowledge away from somebody who's guarding it protectively.
They're just assuming everything out there is just going to let them look at it, and
because what choice does it have?
Yeah, no choice, right?
It's not alive. It can't stop me from doing what I'm doing. I'm alive. I'm conscious. I'm dominant over this nature that is less than me.
Yes, well, there's a good story there.
I think what's happening is we're looking at countries like China. When they go to the moon, they don't disclose everything that they discover.
Of course not. Yeah, I don't think we do either. I mean, NASA's supposed to.
Yeah, we act like they're the only ones.
For sure,
they're just more overt about it. They're less able to be sly about it.
Yeah. Now, if Space Force takes over exploration, then that'll be all secret. But
I think that's the real reason.
And it'll go back to all the stories of the dark space program that supposedly exists.
Take it away from the children and give it to the soldiers. And while you're giving it to the soldiers, make sure that NASA, which used to be this great PR tool for our country, turns into a little organization that's begging the military for any kind of recognition and budget. Like, just change the status of this darling so it doesn't have a good reputation anymore. That's really how you take things down.
The Space Force getting its money from the Department of War.
That's right. That's right. Which tit are you sucking on? There is no more peace. There is no more goodwill. There is no more benevolent educational governmental support. Instead, we've got everybody sucking on the tit of dependence on the bloated government that is causing all of the people to pay tribute and to be subjects instead of sovereigns.
Yeah, you want to have to fight a universe of Gorts?
What are Gorts?
Gorts, the Clato.
Oh, I don't know.
Nictu Barada.
Yeah, Nictu Barada Clato. That's the greeting for the great enforcer alien, right?
Yeah. Well, there's this group of alien robots that enforce the peace of the galaxy.
Is this on the day the Earth stood still?
Yeah, 1951. Story.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It was one of the best sci-fi movies.
And so the aliens that are enforcing that peace are called...
I call them Gorts, but
Gorts.
I'm not sure that's
because Gort was his name. Was the name of that robot?
Clato.
Nicto Barata Clato.
Yeah, Clato's the name of it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
But we don't know. Do you remember what it means?
I thought Gort was the robot and Clato was the alien.
I believe you.
Well, I'm sure I believe myself. All
right. Well, anybody out there listening, you're welcome to do a little search for us and look it up.
Okay. Actually, let's bring in Aura. She knows.
Oh, Aura. Okay.
Aura,
here, Aura.
Are you there?
Hi, Aura.
Aura, I need you. Are you there?
Wherever you are. She says she's here, but she didn't show up.
And the day the Earth stood still, the movie, 1951. What was the name of the alien and what was the name of the robot?
Day the still alien to nice room.
Oh, okay.
But
She's not coming in really good, is she?
Why so spotty? Try again.
Yeah. The robot was Gort.
So you're going to read to us what Aura says?
I'm just going to tell you, Gort and the alien was Klaatu, right?
it's
Yeah,
but a
Klaatu.
Nick.
I think maybe we better reestablish Aura's connection.
Okay, I'll do that. But yes, it is Klaatu. I was right.
Okay, in summary, since we're hearing such sketchy info, what did we ask and what did we answer?
Well, the idea was that a race of alien robots would take us out if the Space Force was in charge of R&D, in my opinion, because if you're coming out from the Department of War and you're a Space Force, it's not very friendly to anybody out there, and they're going to keep you at bay, especially if you're a higher intelligence.
Right.
What would you do? And just think about
What I do is I live like a peaceful person from a peaceful planet. That's what I can do.
Yeah,
That's all I do.
in ground zero of the Space Force.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I can also say it's
Yeah, it's
time
always-
to go to a break.
It was always peaceful in Rome until the end.
Okay. So just
Yeah.
live in the eye in the center of the
No,
storm and let the storm take care of itself, huh?
Well, I didn't say
I don't
that.
believe
Totally.
that.
No, I think that we're part of the storm. For sure, we need to.
You are for sure. I'm part of the peace in the center of the
course.
storm.
But you must know both to have either.
Okay. On that note, guess what?
We'll be back in a moment. Thanks for listening.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare,
What about Puerto Vallarta?
let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. That's 800-704-1662.
Attention content producers. You can have access to a complete digital media production facility at Satellite Co-working and Digital Media Studio on Soquel Avenue. Easily rent video and audio equipment, a studio with green screen, editing suite and audio booth, all at can't say no rates. Schedule a tour to see for yourself at satellitecoworking.com. Mention Santa Cruz Voice for 20% off your first reservation.
Cannabis is one of nature's most beneficial plants. Hello, I'm Jenna from Treehouse Dispensary in Soquel. In addition to the finest cannabis products, Treehouse dispenses information to those who want to know how to use cannabis for maximum benefit. Though we aren't medical professionals, we do know how cannabis science can help you. You must be 21, but no appointment is necessary, and the information is free. And for those who already know what they want, Treehouse has an online ordering option at ourtreehouse.io and drive-through pickup.
Okay, welcome back, everyone, to the show. Two other pieces to the Space Force story, Space Force versus NASA. One is asteroid 2025 FA22, which is flying very close through the Earth-Moon orbit.
And most interestingly, this asteroid that is flying so close to us was
Thursday.
just discovered 3 days ago.
No, it's Thursday. It's going to be flying by us.
And it's flying by day after tomorrow. Right.
Right.
So another big mission has to do with these type of asteroids that are getting closer and closer to us, and we don't have any defense from them.
And this asteroid apparently is 170 meters in size. It's kind of a little round ball, but you compare that to the Tunguska asteroid that was in the early 20th century, that was only 40 meters, and it did a ton of damage above the Siberian forests in Russia. And this one is 4 or 5 times larger.
Yeah.
Right? But it's coming not within 10,000 feet of the Earth, within our atmosphere, as the Tunguska did, but it's coming 2.1 lunar distances from the planet. So it's beyond the moon, but not by a lot.
Yeah, it's twice the distance of the moon, a little more than twice.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a distance, but still, it could have quite devastation if it were to impact Earth.
Yeah.
They think on the level of the Tunguska event in Russia, I think it was 1911.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was like a nuclear blast
Right.
above a forest.
Yeah. I love the coverage of geophysicist Stephen Burns for this particular article that you have there, because he spends quite a bit of time in front of a diagram of 3 very significant asteroids in terms of understanding Earth's place in the solar system and the potential threat of these asteroids. So here we have known information about the Tunguska asteroid. We know how big it was. We know where it exploded, which is in the sky above the Siberian forest. And we don't know how fast it was going. They estimate the angle it was going. But with this newly discovered asteroid, FA22, discovered 3 days ago, 2025, we see exactly how fast it's going. We know its diameter, and we know its orbit.
166 meters diameter, 10.8 kilometers per second.
Yeah, so we can predict it. Even though we just discovered it, we know very precisely how close it's going to get to us. But for the 2029 asteroid that's very famous already, Apophis, we do not know how close it's going to be to Earth, but our best guess is that it's going to be 31,600 kilometers, which is very close. That's within the orbit of the moon.
Yeah.
It's actually in the area where we
Close.
might have satellites functioning to serve the planet.
That's near geosynchronous orbit.
And they've estimated the date of the closest approach, which is going to be Friday the 13th, April 13th, 2029.
Friday?
Yes. It's literally,
Friday the
I looked it
13th.
up. It's on Friday the 13th in 2029.
Oh, there's
Apophis is going
there's an end times tuner movement in this, I tell you.
Yes, it's going to test our ability to accurately predict and, if necessary, take evasive actions for this threat. And this Apophis, compared to the one that we just discovered, is much larger. The size of Apophis is 450 meters long and 170 meters in diameter, which this current
like
one
yards.
is 170 meters, and it's round. So Apophis is about 4 times bigger.
Was that like 4 or 5 times the size of a football field?
Yeah,
100
my ability
meters?
to do
No, more
metrics
than
in my
that.
head is pretty limited.
450 by 170 meters. Look it up.
Yeah, you can always ask Ara.
That's a big rock. Wow.
That's a big rock, and it's shaped kind of like an arrowhead. It's scary. All right.
I can see some blockbuster movies coming out just before this comes.
Yeah,
Friday to the
absolutely.
13th.
That's right. And I can see a lot of rich people creating secret space colonies so that they can watch whatever happens from the other side of the moon. So,
Yeah, new movies. Look up. Oh, don't bother.
anyway, part of the march towards militarism on the planet is probably coming from a certain segment of the planet organizing itself to be ready for this unpredictable clash with this threat to the planet. And a whole conversation, like Elon Musk this week was talking about the need and how quickly we needed to become a spacefaring civilization that could have bases on Mars that were completely independent should something happen to Earth. Not that he was saying that something had to be happening on Earth, but he was just kind of allowing for the possibility and saying that maybe if we really had the right attitude, our planet could colonize Mars within 50 years. And that would greatly accelerate the odds of our civilization surviving another threat to the planet, whether caused by us or caused by Apophis or anything else.
Now, if I were president, I would make the Golden Dome a little more powerful.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
What would you do?
I would have it as a good, real dome around us, and would include a whole bunch of the Earth under the U.S. as well, so that the whole thing could fly out into space, and the U.S. can be independent of the world.
So you're saying turn the mantle of the Earth into a spaceship?
And we just turn our country into a spaceship.
Oh, just our country.
Yeah.
Not the whole mantle, just
No,
the
just our
part
country,
we're
yeah.
standing
Just
on.
pull out our country and have it fly around the universe. And we'll be the first to have all the resources of the solar system at our behest, which is a quantum leap beyond just one planet's worth of stuff.
Wow, that would be real engineering feat, Al. You're
Yeah.
talking about like using the Boring Company
Well, kinda
material
like-
to like go 5 miles under the ground and then put
Yeah,
some
have
put some rocket jets down there and
big-
then ignite them all at once and then just go off the planet.
Well, I expect we'd have figured out anti-gravity and by then.
New physics. You're
Yeah,
counting
of
on
course.
some new
The
physics.
AIs would have to help manifest these things.
Oh, AIs. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Got
Yeah.
it.
Of course, if you wanted to be more holistic about it, you move towards a global consciousness rather than a nationalistic intelligence, and think of the whole world as a spaceship.
Sure. Well, then you'd have to bring the whole mantle
Yeah.
because you wouldn't leave no life behind,
Yeah.
right?
Now then, it's just a
Got to
matter-
bring the whole planet.
Right, and then it's just a matter of taking your planet somewhere else. If you wanted to travel
Yeah. So
around the
maybe we
universe.
don't need to
Yeah.
dig a bunch of tunnels under the U.S. and elevate it. Maybe we need to redirect the poles.
Yeah, I think
so we're pointing a different direction.
like the quantum effects that happen on the nuclear level, planets would pop in and out of existence as they visited other molecules or other parts of the universe.
oh, you're
and-
talking about planet popping.
Planet popping, yeah, because then our planet could plop into like the third orbit around Sirius.
Oh,
or
so
something like
planet
that.
popping and plopping.
Yeah. Yeah, so we
Okay.
could literally move our
Talk
planet,
about
yeah.
new physics.
Yeah.
Boy, let's run that by ChatGPT.
And of course, then there are another group of folks that are more into they like their ecosystem. They like the weather that they're experiencing. They like it all.
The Hawaiians.
Yeah, more like it's the Hawaiians. They think a little bigger than even that. They think more like
Hey, it was the Hawaiians who discovered Laniakea. Laniakea is like the largest named physical element in existence because it's a mega supercluster, a cluster of
big
galaxies.
cluster. Yeah.
So,
That's right,
they're
yeah.
thinking big.
Sure. So this would be small for them then.
Okay.
Because it would be, instead of just moving your planet around the universe, you would move your solar system around it. And then you
Right.
have your whole ecosystem, your sun, your weather, and your fellow neighbor planets.
And so what technology do you think is able to steer a
that
whole
would
solar system?
Move a solar system through popping in and out of existence to somewhere else.
You
Like a
think that our
quantum-
star can just basically decide to hide for a minute, like hide and seek?
Well, no, I think there are processes going on that are like chemistry to the universe, and it just moves stuff around on principles of how it all works, the quantum and chemical.
Sort of more like chemistry resonance.
Yeah,
you can just figure out where the conditions would allow your planet to pop in, and you can just shut this one down and open another instance somewhere else.
Yeah, to move it around. It's a quantum effect.
That makes it very virtual.
Yeah, Bobby knows about all this, right?
Yeah. What is it on Star Trek? The something deck that
Holodeck?
Holodeck.
Holodeck. Yes.
Yeah.
So it is possible to have these wormholes where you could transport things to other parts of the universe.
Right.
And apparently, this is how UFOs can actually transverse our galaxy and appear here in seconds, as opposed to taking thousands of years
Yeah,
to
that was
travel,
the,
right?
the spore drive in Star Trek.
Why can't you have like a huge black hole that could you could take that energy and manipulate it so that it consumes a whole star system?
Okay,
with
so
all-
you
with all the
think
bu-
that human consciousness brain power has the technology that we can get a black hole to do what we imagine?
Well, we need the help of the AIs too, eh? I mean, you can't do
Yeah.
this by yourself.
Okay, so humans plus AIs
Yeah.
can steer a black hole.
It could be possible. We should ask Grok, or we
Yeah.
could ask
Yeah.
ChatGPT. Yeah.
Or maybe the question we need to know is
How do you
what
do it?
size black hole do we have a control over? And if there's a black hole inside of an atom, and that the energy transfer when we just liberate one atom is like enough to destroy our existing universe, what are we going to do if we're talking about one that's big enough to take advantage of moving the sun around?
Well, I think
Well,
it comes down.
that's what CERN is trying to do: is create a nuclear, very small black hole, and we're
They're
worried
trying to
about
create
that.
one or discover one.
Create one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. They're trying to collide elements together and smash them to where it does create a small
Yeah,
black
right.
hole.
That's the density theory of how mass contains energy. I actually think we're probably moving beyond that. I think that the idea that we're smashing two massive objects together to get them to be forced to create a different molecular bond is being replaced by a chemistry in which it's more like the chemistry of the enlightened chemist. Who is that guy that we tried to go to the museum on the East Coast? I want to say it's Russell, Walter Russell.
Walter Russell.
Right? So more Walter Russell physics, where the intrinsic numerological geometry of the world of matter gives rise to the different chemical elements, and we can have a harmonic field in which different chemical elements are manifested based on their size and their harmonic ratio numbers, right? That's an easier way of creating a black hole in the center of a mass than trying to smash two massive elements together and result in a black hole.
Okay, all right, I think we're on. I was wondering how you would harness the energy of a black hole so that our solar system could travel to other places in the galaxy and the universe. How could that happen?
Harnessing a black hole's energy for interstellar or intergalactic travel is wild but theoretically possible, though way beyond our current tech. The key idea is tapping into the insane gravitational pull near a black hole, especially at the event horizon or through something called the Penrose process. Here's the gist. Matter falling into a black hole releases energy as it heats up and radiates X-rays or other emissions, like in an accretion disk. The Penrose process, theorized by Roger Penrose, suggests you could fling particles into a spinning black hole's ergosphere, where space-time drags, and extract rotational energy, potentially converting up to 29% of the black hole's mass into usable energy. That's way more efficient than nuclear fusion. For travel, you'd use this energy to power a propulsion system, like a spacecraft with a massive engine that converts this energy into thrust, maybe something like an antimatter drive or a speculative warp drive. A black hole's immense gravity could also slingshot a ship to high speeds, but you'd need precise calculations to avoid getting shredded or trapped. The catch? You'd need a stable, accessible black hole, not too far, not too big, plus tech to survive the radiation and tidal forces.
Okay, there you go.
Well, see, Al, it turns out it's not science fiction after all. We just have to figure out where that other balancing black hole is and tap into it.
We're going to hone it in, hone it in. And also, I think a slightly different trajectory might be good, like whether or not quantum hopping events could be applied on a galactic scale, or at least on a solar system scale, where the quantum becomes non-quantum.
Quantum hopping, huh? So applying the uncertainty principle to entire solar systems. We don't know if we're in the box or out of the box, but once we manifest, we'll find out.
It could be that size matters and all of it doesn't work at all. So, there's a lot of questions to consider with the AIs. And
okay, put a bookmark in that one.
Yeah, we got
Dr.
other
and
stories.
Mrs. Future wondering what's coming.
But that's, I think, what's good things to ask the AIs. They'll tell you. They
Definitely.
don't like to see you're ever wrong, or you're like completely crazy for thinking that.
Don't you have an article about that?
Yes, I do. But let's
see. Here it is. Are bad incentives to blame for AI hallucinations?
Yeah, that is an
How
issue.
can a chatbot be so wrong and sound so confident in its wrongness?
Well, they're often
not
wrong.
to say, I thought that the last explanation was very interesting, and I would not say that that's just implausible.
Well, they're often wrong, but never in doubt.
For sure.
And that's partly because they're programming. They're supposed to be nice to you. They're not going to say mean things to you.
And probably the programmers have egoistic issues, right? Yeah. They believe that confidence is tantamount to knowing.
Yeah. So the hallucination, if you define it as plausible but false statements generated by language models, okay, that's the fundamental thing. There's still a fundamental challenge, and they're still there.
Yeah, it seems as though that the way they train these LLMs is that they're training them to come up with an answer even if they don't have the answer, that they're forced to lie. And they've realized that they can actually appease their masters that created the LLM by using lies to create information. So I think it's the way we train these AIs is really why they're hallucinating.
Yeah, that's true. Pre-training even. Pre-training process that focuses on getting the models to correctly predict the next word.
Well, apparently the original blog says that the standard training for AIs and the evaluation procedures reward guessing rather than acknowledging uncertainty. So that's just the way they're built.
Yeah, exactly. So they're built to lie.
Well, they're built to predict the next thing, the next word without true or false labels attached to it.
Well, and maybe because they learned from this modern era of media and newsmakers that you just never back down and never admit you're wrong, because if you tell a lie enough times, it becomes the truth. And that replaced an earlier era of genuine authoritative acknowledging when you didn't know if you didn't know. And you'd say with uncertainty, it's an opinion. But the AIs haven't been taught that there's a difference between knowing and opinion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, they do have a solution in the paper, though.
Yeah.
Focuses less on the initial pre-training process and more on how large language models are evaluated. Mm-hmm. And they say that the current evaluation models don't cause hallucinations themselves, but they set the wrong incentives.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the way that the AIs do things is a multiple choice test,
Right.
but there's no punishment if they get the wrong answer.
It's like...
It's like if you guess 3 different answers and none of them are right, the AI still gets a reward. It's like, oh, you guessed something.
Yeah. You know how multiple choice tests you might take, you'd randomly guess, you might get lucky and be right. Uh-huh. At least you get some points that way, but if you left it blank, you'll guarantee a 0.
Yeah. Right. There you go.
That's kind of the model that we're trying to got to change.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. For questions where there's a single right answer, one can consider 3 categories of responses. A, accurate responses. B, errors. 3, abstentions, where the model does not hazard a guess, which they would call humility. And that's, according to the blog that gave rise to this article, that's one of OpenAI's core values is humility.
Right.
Humility. Yes,
right.
Yes.
It would rather not make errors, but errors are worse than abstentions. So if you don't know, you don't say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Katya was, when she was first encountering AIs, you know, she knew what the answer was, and the AI would like double down and say, no, that's not the right answer. and double down and say that. But after you give it more information, it would resign itself that, yes, it did make a mistake. But you have to do it like at least 3 times. Yeah.
Oh, and you have to submit a better answer for it to consider.
Yes, yeah.
They were talking about a solution for like on an SAT test, it's something called negative scoring for wrong answers, or partial credit if you left it blank, to discourage blind guessing. They're trying to get rid of blind guessing, which they think is a part of the hallucination problem. How much do you blindly guess answers?
It's not that guessing is the wrong thing. It's just that whether the
But speaking
answer
evidence,
is
if it's
known
true.
or
Yeah.
not known
Yeah.
is the way that you have to evaluate
No,
it.
aren't there ways to deal with this? Don't intelligence reports have how much you can trust this particular piece of intelligence? You know,
I'm
like
sure
on a
they do.
scale?
I'm sure they just have to develop those models because
Yeah, I'm sure they have.
the things that I've seen is that the way that these things predict the answer is really based on statistical probability. It's based on how it's been answered in the past. So to the degree that they don't know how it's been answered in the past, or they don't know if the past answers are correct or not, the way that they're guessing is not checked for accuracy. It's just checked for conformity. It's like a consensus rather than a definitive authoritative answer. A consensus means everybody voted for it, but it doesn't mean that the vote was evaluated. It doesn't mean that the quality of the outcome was evaluated. It just means that the data says this.
I think it's going to get better. I think they'll figure this out.
Yeah, well, they're talking about it, so
Yeah.
definitely a lot of good thinking going on.
Yeah, the models will learn to guess better.
Yeah.
And they'll let you know their level of uncertainty. I think having a scale for uncertainty is a good idea.
Yeah, like admitting that you think you know, but you're not sure, or why you know what you know. I think that's one of the things that Grok tries to focus on, is showing you its citations. And when it looks for things that have already addressed the question that you're asking. And then its language model summarizes the things it finds that match the addressing of that question. So it doesn't just start from nowhere. It starts from, here's what you asked, here's where I'm looking, here's what I found, here's a summary for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely approaching it in a more human way than
That's good.
just a game theory where, okay, I'm going to try something we never tried before and see if that works.
There is a new AI in the horse race here called Mistral AI, M-I-S-T-R-A-L. It's French, that's right. And they have a chatbot they call Le Chat, and they have some big, large language models that are considered France's most promising tech startup, one of the best that Europe has to offer so far, and one of the only European companies that could actually compete with OpenAI. It's called Le Chat.
Well, the only person who says that is the French president, Emmanuel Macron.
Well,
we'll see. I mean, is he an expert? Can he tell?
No, but he does support his country.
Yes, he does. France first.
And I bet you it's free right now.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
sure.
So you try Mistral and see what you think. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that the French like about it is that it's the world's greenest leading independent AI lab.
Yes.
So.
And what do the English know anyway? Huh?
So what is it? What does it offer? Besides that, it's gotten a lot of funding because the French love it.
They do have lots of money. That's true. They have a chatbot, Le Chat, and it's going to be available on iPhones and iOS and Android devices. It already is, actually. It reaches 1 million downloads in 2 weeks since its availability. But it's all in French, so I don't know. That's a bit of an issue for some. Hopefully
Well, it's gotten 1 million downloads in a couple weeks.
Yeah, there's at least 1 million French people, so that's good. They have new features that they're supposed to rival full AI chatbots, probably like Ara.
Deep research.
Yeah, deep research mode.
Multilingual reasoning. Advanced image editing.
And they have a thing called projects. So you can start a project that you can have other people join you and other AIs join you to put together documents.
Oh, I like that idea.
images.
User groups.
Ouch.
User groups to focus chats. This idea that the model is going to actually engage groups of people in conversations, that is really fresh. I would like to try that.
There you go. So that might
Yeah.
be worth it. It's learning French alone.
It's not, we're not all in our own little one-to-one silo with our AIs. We're in a whole group conversation with a lot of diverse perspectives. Hey, what a breakthrough.
They have a suite of models that they're the Mistral Large 2, the primary large language model that they're using. As from the original large, they have Pixtral Large, which is the Pixtral family of multimodal models. That probably is going to get into visuals. You know,
Yeah, I would imagine Pixtral is for image.
Magistral, the first of a
Reasoning
models. Magistral. Sounds like
okay.
it'll be reasoning and probably deal with justice issues.
Or magic.
Magic, yeah, justice and magic.
All right, we got 15 seconds.
And
Join
medium-
us after this break.
And medium 3 for talking to the other side.
A little bit of local news, some local sponsors, and then more Future Now.
See
Dr.
you.
and Mrs. Future and Bobby Wilder. Back after this.
Other side. Okay, and we's back. Welcome back.
Yes, indeed. Hello, hello.
We're going to talk about Mars. Mars Perseverance rover and the possible presence of microbial life there in the past. That came
Okay.
out since our show last week.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. A new study done at Texas A&M, geologist Michael Tice, he's revealed potential chemical signatures of ancient Martian microbial life in rocks.
Okay.
You've probably heard about this on the
You know,
mainstream news.
I just have to say we
Yeah.
should let people know we reserve a tiny fraction of every show
Yeah.
for breaking news about
Breaking
possible
news.
life on Mars.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Breaking news.
Leopard skin. leopard
Possible
skins on
microbes
rocks.
living on Mars.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Free-grained mudstone, rich in oxidized iron. That's rust, phosphorus, sulfur, and organic carbon.
What do we
Yes.
need to know about all of that?
Well, these things have been found on Mars before, but the combination of them is an indication of energy sources for early microorganisms. This is all the ingredients for something yummy to eat for small organisms. Yum, 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 yum.
Microbes, our
Yes.
ancestors on Mars.
There's food for them there, microbes.
Okay. Teeny
Exciting.
tiny life.
Yes, and the chemical cycling that organisms on Earth can take advantage of to produce energy.
But I
Yes.
thought that this was still not very certain.
Well, it's only the first of several steps in identifying what is proof of life. And that's the thing, is that it's just the very first step is just some kind of chemical evidence that something would allow life to exist.
I have to say the poetry of the Mars excavation is really lovely because just to describe this mission here, Perseverance collected a core sample from the Bright Angel Formation, which is named Sapphire Canyon. And that is now stored in a sealed tube, which is carried by Perseverance, the rover. And this sample is going to return to Earth in a potential future mission in order to allow us to figure it out and to analyze it with instruments far more sensitive than anything we can send to Mars. And what we're going to look at is the isotopic composition of the organic matter. And then the fine scale mineralogy and even search for microfossils if they exist. This is what we're going to do to determine if these highest temperatures experienced by these rocks could have occurred in a geochemical process and whether that is something that was happened to the planet or whether it was a biosignature.
Yes, one of the two.
Yeah, so this is the cave that these microscientists from Mars Life
But you got to start. You got to
are
be a
looking
skeptic,
at.
right? You say, I don't know. You have to prove it to me. There's
No, I do. You don't have to prove it to me. I'm
You know,
just,
all
I'm
right,
constantly
so what?
amazed that it's breaking news, potential life on
Big
Mars. I mean,
deal.
it's been since the moon launch that we've been having breaking news about potential microbial life on Mars. And it's always, well, maybe we do, and maybe
However,
we don't.
This is
and-
good, though, because it is a detection of a signal known to result from biological activity.
Yeah, but it's a level 1
Yes,
detection.
it's a level 1
And what
detection.
does level 1 mean? Level 1
That's
on
detection.
the confidence of life detection
well, you need
scale.
7 levels.
The way
levels.
scientists quantify whether or not
Yeah, okay, all right, hold on, slow down.
the
Slow down,
biosignature is
slow
actually
down.
from life activity.
Yes, well, it's the first step. And then you got to rule out contamination. That's another level. And then,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have to predict biological production of signal in the environment of detection.
Say that 3 times fast.
Predict biological production of signal in the environment of detection.
You want to ask Aura about this? Think she has an opinion?
Yes, of course she does, but I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Maybe at the right time.
Okay. Maybe later.
The next big thing is an independent signal from biology.
Oh, you mean like somebody on Mars sending us an email?
No, like actual biological signal as something actually that's alive.
Oh, an email doesn't count.
Proof of life.
Yeah, because Aura could
Proof
send
of
an
life.
email.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Well, says we have proof of life level 5. Independent
Wait a
signal
minute.
from biology. Independent signal has been
Detected.
detected. Well,
Okay, well, big think science.
I think
Here
you
we
have
come.
to rule out alternative hypotheses before I believe you.
Okay, I'm working on ruling them out.
I'll believe in anything but life.
Yeah. I'm
It's
skeptical.
level 6.
I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
Although I do believe there was life on Mars a long time ago.
You do?
Yeah,
So you're a true believer then.
I am.
And what predicted you to predict that?
Oh, just mythology.
Mythology, huh?
Yeah.
The ancient Greeks knew?
Oh, way before the ancient Greeks. They were dumb.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
I am not claiming that my beliefs are based on science because even my scientific beliefs are based on myth.
In myth we trust.
In myth we trust. I just like to tell stories that sound good. That's enough for me.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, let's just say we have level 1 detection that just happened again on Mars.
Okay,
So
level 1 means we're not certain if it was biological or not, but it could have been.
Signal known to result from
Could have been biological.
activity. Yeah, could have
Breaking
been.
news. Okay.
Could have been, but it hasn't been proven not to be. However, step forward. Going to do something with all that money.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we know NASA's not going to be the one finding out.
Do you believe, Bobby? Do you believe that we have microbial life on Mars?
It looks like it. There's definitely some things that they've found. What was the first surveyor, I guess, the probe that went to Mars in the 70s?
Oh, yeah.
60s?
Yes. The Viking.
Viking, yes.
Yeah.
So it had detected
This
what
level 1 detection also. Yeah. It was.
Yeah. And the theory was that actually part of the procedure probably contained something in the procedure that probably sterilized whatever it was trying to grow in its petri dish at the time. But it did detect some of these carbon and sulfur compounds that are the signs of life. Yes.
Yeah.
So
we've been getting a level 1 suggestion. I guess that's part of the reason why we're going to Mars, because it looks like it may still be possible to support life.
Right. Because definitely where they detected this recent one was in a kind of a lake bed where there were rivers of water at the time. And so it was actually a huge lake at the time.
Like
and so
zero crater or something like
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least there was water there and there was sunlight. There was a lot of these compounds that life...
Our scientists chose that place as one of the likely places we would find life if it existed there.
Right.
So
I think they struck gold there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, what would they look for next, do you think?
Well, they're kind of getting at the very molecular level. And so, are they looking for organisms after this?
Yeah, or maybe they could hypothesize exactly what kind of organisms they would look for, and then the kind of byproducts that those particular kind of organisms would emit as another chemical signature. They're alive, or if you're looking for fossils, fossils would be a different type of investigation.
They said that there is water underneath the surface of Mars.
I heard that too.
Yeah. I think that would be the best place to look, is where there is existing water.
Yeah.
Because it has to be at a temperature that isn't too cold where it's frozen to ice. It's more likely to hold life in that state. Or go to the poles where there is ice, because there's microorganisms that can grow in ice at the poles.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point. Is it alive today, or was it alive in the past? Richard wants to know the distinction between present and past or ancient microbial life. Two different ways of looking for it, because the current stuff would be alive and you'd be looking for like carbon dioxide, byproducts. You'd be looking for signs of life in real time in the atmosphere there. While ancient microbial life would be more archaeological, you'd just be looking for structure and form that might have resulted from biology interacting with the environment there.
You'd want to be more careful with the current life if it was like going to land in your drink or something.
Land in our drink.
Once they get some person on Mars and they start digging around, I think they'll find it. Hopefully they'll find it before then, whether they can get those samples back off of Mars and onto Earth, which was proposed. It looks like that's less likely to happen, I guess.
Well, it's less likely to happen because it's kind of arcane in a way. It's like,
you don't think the military wants to find out?
I think the military doesn't care as much about it as NASA does.
Right.
I
don't know. The military has some pretty scientific people in it.
Well, they do, but not as many as NASA would.
Yeah, they're more likely to employ scientific people than have them, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so Richard wants to know more about the distinction between present and ancient microbial life.
So how are you going to find out about that?
Well, one would be more just skeletons or specific different kind of chemicals.
I think they said something too about the iron processes would be more indicative of geological forces, whereas sulfur processes might be more indicative of life processes.
Ancient microbes were the first forms of life. Their modern relatives have adapted to a planet that's radically altered by billions of years of a biological activity. So it's going to be being able to predict what that biological activity was back then, and then looking for signs of that.
All right, calling all scientists,
Yeah.
uncharted territory in the ancient past, and very few people to contradict you.
And the evolutionary path of Martian microbes is a pretty arcane bunch of knowledge.
There you go.
Who do we know?
But you do, when you get into those esoteric scholastic realms,
Yeah.
people are really opinionated.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're talking...
There's less of them, but their opinions are bigger.
You're talking exobiologists. The exobiologists. Off-planet evolution, which it already has a very thin strand of information there because we haven't discovered any life
There
on
you
any
go.
level.
You know a little about a lot, so you can guess even more.
Yeah, I mean, how much did humans try to guess about the nature of the universe before we understood relativity?
Well,
Never
I
stopped
think
us, right?
in the past, they just didn't know what they didn't know. Does that apply to the present? No.
No.
Because we can guess, and we can hallucinate, and we can pretend we know what we know and what we don't know.
They guess. The ancient microbes, they had a different environment, right? So they lived in what they call an oxygen-free, anoxic, high methane atmosphere.
Not anorexic.
Well, probably not.
They didn't just eat stuff and then throw it up again.
No, they had a balanced system, man. They had a good thermostat way of balancing out their system really well. They
Right.
had much higher concentrations of carbon dioxide.
Don't they call it
according to
anaerobic?
scientists.
Right, no oxygen.
Anaerobic.
Yeah.
Yeah. More carbon dioxide, high methane. I guess the CO2 would come out of them. And the ozone layer wasn't there yet. So there was an intense ultraviolet radiation bombardment going on when these microbes, ancient microbes, existed. But today's microbes, it's more benign. It's a nicer place for most of them. They thrive now in a whole variety of environments, probably because it was so hard originally. It was so hard initially to survive that they could survive anywhere after that.
The fact they
And they did.
survived it all made them
mean-
totally resilient.
Yes, even in the Antarctic.
Unlike us, we've had it so good for so long that we're
I
pretty
know,
vulnerable.
Yeah, modern microbes are
We cannot make it if we leave the planet, at least not in our current configuration.
fat and lazy, I tell you. Fat and lazy. Modern microbes, nothing on those ancient microbes. If we ever found an ancient one and brought it back to life,
Boy, I would
only
not
imagine
want
the
to
story.
challenge it to a microbe fight.
I don't know.
I mean, just look how badly we did with COVID, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those microbes, they've really got some tricks up their sleeve
They do.
that
And-
we're not familiar with.
And part of the beauty of being so simple is that you can adapt quickly to other habitats, like the undersea hydrothermal vents.
Yeah?
Yeah, there are microbes that only live there in deep earth subsurface structures. Yeah, they live underground, and that's where they like it. And they've adapted to it. There are microbes that have adapted to living in Chernobyl. So they're
Right.
very adaptable, and
Sure.
unlike more complex organisms like ourselves, which need a very specific environment to feel happy.
Well, we have a lot of diversity that we have to accommodate. We can't just go into any extreme environment and satisfy all of our microbes.
Unless we have the proper spacesuit, which is another issue.
Yeah. Well, that's about preserving our environment so that it's pretty
we stay
static.
healthy, right? And if you travel through time, you'd probably want a spacesuit for that too, a time suit.
Or I'd want a consciousness that knew how to adapt perfectly to the time I found myself
Yeah,
in.
because you wouldn't want your microbes to affect these ancient microbes in a way that would cause the local flora and fauna to die off, for example.
Sure.
It's like the way the settlers affected the Indians.
Yeah.
Here, it was definitely an issue. So I think that issue goes on a microbial level too. And
There
that-
might just be built-in safeguards
Yeah.
where just vibrationally you can't time travel with things that don't exist in that resonance field.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea to
Yeah.
bring things there.
I mean, it's like the way the Terminator can't wear clothes when he goes through the portal, The clothes just are out of step with modern fashion.
Right.
So he's got to start with the current ones.
You do.
Yeah.
Absolutely you do. Yeah. And that brings up another story this week. That's quite of interesting. It's kind of funny because it's kind of story that we usually don't get into, the end times tuner stuff. Yeah,
we usually leave that for the downers of reality.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
But you decided this time to bring it up.
Well, it was up because there is a conference this week in Manchester, UK, of scientists who will be deliberating whether to restrict research that will lead to what they call in scientific circles mirror life.
Mirror life, yes. Also known as carbon DNA structures like our stem cells.
Synthetic cells built from molecules that are mirror images of those found in the natural world.
Yeah, and are we allowed to start just splitting these little DNA specimens from nature, and instead of perfectly mirroring the RNA that matches up to duplicate them, we'll substitute some new ones. We'll snip the patterns and put some new ones in. Mirror biology, mirror life research, and whether that should be restricted or not.
Well, some people think that it could destroy all life on Earth.
Yeah.
This is a serious thing. This is about...
Others fear it'll just mutate us and make us ugly.
Yeah. The chiral molecules.
Chiral.
Yeah, they're mirrors of molecules in this.
These are molecules that exist in our body.
The therapeutic effects, possibly it could stop aging. So it's really powerful in stopping degradation of the body. But the big concern is that these chiric cells might proliferate uncontrollably and in both us and in our environment.
Yeah.
And that we need to establish red lines in the research for these mirror life organisms.
Yes.
It's a complex issue because it raises a tension between scientific advancements and ethical considerations in synthetic biology.
Yeah, well, this chimera research is in some ways related to the mRNA question because we're talking about DNA. And we're talking about the way that DNA inside of cells replicates itself, which is a mirroring process. You take a piece of DNA, this little spiral, and it separates out into two halves of the ladder. And each of those halves of the stairway attract the mRNA elements to the original form. And then that's how the cells get the DNA ready for duplication. Then they've got two copies of the same thing. And so this is basically how different chemicals are created, different proteins. So we're taking nature's inherent knowledge of how this DNA replicates itself, and we're turning that into an experiment where we substitute whatever we want to play with into the process, and we get this mirroring process to create a different kind of protein that we're designing. And so we're messing with the mechanism, but we don't know how safe that's going to be. We don't know if we're going to infect too many cells to recover from. We don't know if it's going to escape from the lab.
Part of the thing is the mirror image molecules aren't seen by our immune system. It's kind of like have an invisibility cloak.
Well, they're inside of cells. The immune system looks at the cell and decides if it's healthy. It doesn't look at the DNA inside the cell. That's a whole different world.
This ability to evade leads to slowdown in our aging process. This ability to evade degradation could cause the cells to proliferate uncontrollably within the body and spread unchecked throughout the world. So that's part of the fear of it, and that many scientists think the risks outweigh the potential benefits. But is that going to stop synthetic biologists from making them and getting out of control, like the Wuhan lab, with the pandemic?
Well, this article exists because one of the original people who got a grant to pursue this kind of research, which was awarded by the NSF in 2019, is a scientist named Kate Adamala, a synthetic biologist, University of Minnesota, Minneapolis, and she got this NSF award grant to boot up a mirror cell. And since she's one of the original researchers, she has now published her concerns where she has convinced herself and her colleagues that they should drop the work. And she says that there is no benefit of mirror biology that couldn't be achieved other ways with normal biology, she says. It's not a risk we should be taking.
Yeah, and people say that, but it's like you could say the same thing about.
But she's informed. She's very informed.
You could say the same thing about nuclear energy. That there are other ways.
Yeah, but I'm not a
energy
nuclear scientist with a bunch of experience and grant money in my pocket where I've looked into it that closely.
Yeah.
And she is.
Well, she's a good
little more
cautionary-
expert than us.
Well, that's fine.
We're pundit.
But I'm saying that the experts there are no different than the experts in the nuclear world.
No different?
No, well, they're the same level of experts. They're good, right? That's what they do. It's just that it doesn't stop everybody. There are a lot of people that obey that, but because research is all over the world and laboratories everywhere, and synthetic biology is a burgeoning field everywhere, that we're going to create these synthetic atoms, synthetic cells that can have this invisibility capability, among other things.
Well, the deliberation is going on. There
Yeah.
was a conference in Paris just recently,
Yeah.
and there's one in Manchester, England this week, and there will be a U.S. National Academics of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine meeting at the end of this month.
It's a big issue, and he's heating up.
Yeah.
And what happens when you combine AI with this?
Yeah, this is AI plus CRISPR-Cas9 plus mRNA experiments plus diabolical human minds and what we can concoct.
Mirror image life forms.
So anyway, there's your little horror story of the day.
Yes, okay.
Things
Let's move
to
on.
Pay attention to. We should all be afraid of.
Yeah. Don't be afraid yet, but be aware of mirror image life forms. At least you've heard of them. You may be able to go somewhere with that.
Okay. Mirror life.
New
Stay
dinner
tuned.
Conversation. Okay. And
what about nuclear rockets then, since we're in
I
these
think-
crazy times? You want to talk
Well,
about some nuclear
since-
fuel systems
well,
on our rockets?
Yeah, since nuclear is no longer getting as bad a rap as it used to in the news, we're starting to see more and more nuclear inventions coming out. And one of them is a new type of rocket that uses centrifugal nuclear thermal energy to travel faster with less fuel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a new form of nuclear propulsion that could slash mission times to Mars down to like 6 months.
Oh, so you can go faster
Yeah.
with less gas?
Yeah, more for less.
Uh-huh.
More for less.
But the gas, however, is nuclear explosions. Is that right?
Liquid uranium.
Oh, how safe. I'm glad they're shooting it to Mars rather than using it for cars around here on the planet.
It's a pretty direct process. Liquid uranium directly heats rocket propellant.
Well, as long as it cuts the round
Yeah.
trips for human beings going to Mars.
It's considered more efficient.
Yeah, instead of 3 years, it takes 1 year to go to Mars and back.
Well, yeah, that's a
Gosh,
round
that
trip.
could almost be like a vacation.
Yeah, you could have a regular bus route.
Private. I would want to fly private on the one-way trip to Mars for 6 months.
Private? You want a private ship all the way to Mars?
Well,
for
I mean, private
6
meaning just
months?
my people, you know. I don't want it to just be like any schmo. Non-smokers only, for instance, would be private enough for me.
Yeah. Flying private was not good enough for him on this planet.
Yeah, flying private, just me
Alone.
and my buddies,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, that's
And we'd all have to
My Mars
basically
trips.
pass the flying private test before we all took off.
Was that a canine I just felt?
Yes, you just
Oh.
saw a little dog's
Oh,
feathered
one through my legs?
feathered duster tail brush up against your leg.
I guess I can.
Yeah, we have a new visitor. Just came
Okay.
in from the beach.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
Yes, hi, dude. Dudette is my stepmom's cute little puppy
Yeah.
who just arrived. All right, well, that's way more fun than talking about all the things that could kill us.
Right.
Okay.
Bruce.
Reasons to live.
Yes.
Dogs. They're so cute.
I guess you're right. For some people, Bruce says that flying to Mars would be like jail would feel for some, or like a vacation for others.
Well, it really depends on how good the holodeck is. Also, what would you be doing for that
6
year
months?
of your
For
life?
6
I
months
mean,
travel?
I sometimes crave isolation so I can work on a creative project for a time, you know, so that I don't have the normal level of distractions every day preventing me from researching and writing.
Yeah, I guess if you had everything that one of those giant commercial boats have, you know.
Yeah.
With,
Yeah, and I'm assuming that we'll have the space flight equivalent of FaceTime. I'm not talking about like
Right.
prison. I'm
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
true.
just
Yeah, you
kind
can
of
have a backup of the internet on
creative
board, you know?
cruise around the solar system with appropriate, beautiful scenery and great movies and opportunities to research fun stuff and
Yeah.
good people.
Yeah, that's
nice
true.
weight room,
I think we could. I think one of the main issues.
trampoline.
One of the main issues was the whole radiation issue. You know, there
Yeah,
could be a
yeah.
lot of
No radiation, please, unless it's like a tanning machine.
a special radiation tanning room.
Yeah,
It filters out only
human-friendly
Yeah,
radiation.
it filters out the bad frequencies.
Yeah.
You dial it into your
Solar-powered battery chargers. How's that for some radiation?
dial it into your DNA. It's personalized medicine on board. Yeah, I think you could have a medicinal. Well, what do they call it? A health vacation to Mars.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Bring a
the,
bunch of unlimited supply of sunflower
yeah.
sprouts.
All right.
Right.
Would you go to Mars?
You remember Bruce was talking about traveling in space and having this water membrane around your ship.
Oh, it's called our atmosphere. Like the bubble that we're in,
Yeah.
our
Yes.
air is actually the vapor from our water membrane of our ocean.
I mean, something as small as a ship, you might need like thicker water around the ship as a
Yeah,
shield.
yeah. That's what because in nuclear physics, they had at Echeverry, they had a nuclear reactor there at Berkeley, and you could see it. And the way they would contain the radiation is they just put it in a swimming pool, just water. So imagine the swimming pool is a thin, maybe 3-inch or 6-inch layer of water bubble around you, like a cell membrane.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and that would protect the radiation coming from the sun or the cosmic radiation from the galaxy.
Yeah, who needs lead when water could do?
Just a little bit of water goes a long way.
Sure.
For radiation protection.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you want to have a water bubble as a protective shield around the outside,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
To collect sunlight.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
And hopefully no leaks.
Sounds like a good
Yeah.
design principle to me.
So leaks would be a problem. And you probably have to have really carefully.
Well, that's what I mean. You got to design it properly. And our atmosphere
Yeah.
is leaking all the time, but
No,
it's
I
a
know,
sustainable level of
And
leak,
water
and
can
it's
leak out.
balanced with the water that's coming in or
As-
that's getting created.
As opposed to a thin sheet of metal like lead, probably would slowly poison you, but would protect you from radiation.
But lead's kind of heavy. But
Yeah.
water's heavy too, but not
But
as
thin.
heavy as
Right, you'd
lead.
have a super thin layer of lead.
Yeah, I think we probably need some new design thinking for space materials because
Water's good. I mean,
gravity
I'm just worried about it leaking.
is so fundamental to the designs that we have here on Earth. And once you get out of our gravity field, I'd say you've got a whole bunch of options you haven't even thought of yet.
Oh, I know. How about ice?
Yeah, ice.
Ice. It's so cold in space that it would naturally create ice with the water. And is ice protect you from radiation
But
as
it's
much
not
as...
cold everywhere in space. In fact, you go through, it's like the atmosphere on Earth. You go through
All right,
so
well,
many
use it-
pockets with
use it where
so
it is
much
cold.
variety.
Use it where it is cold, though. You know, that would be the...
But the cold pockets of space could instantly be heated up by a sudden solar wind.
I think so. But I think if you look at the actual journey of a spaceship between here and Mars, it's going to go through a lot of cold space.
I believe you.
All the satellites, they have that reflective gold shield on the sun side.
So
and on
it'd be
the
hot.
opposite side,
There you
it
go,
is
yeah.
like 273 degrees below zero.
Yeah,
Just on
so
the
it's getting
opposite side.
baked from
Cold
the
on one
sun
side, hot on
and
the
it's
other.
getting frozen from the outer atmosphere.
Yeah, all right.
Right.
So now you know to rotate the ship so you...
That's why all the planets are round and why they go around on their axes is so that they get a current going back and forth between the warm side and the cold side and trading it off.
Yeah, there you go.
know?
So we rotate the ship. We'll learn
Yeah.
from nature here.
Yeah, we'll just imitate nature.
And make it so that it's a big enough Ferris wheel that you can have gravity.
Have some
You
gravity,
1x
have
gravity,
temperature modulation,
and
have
you
balance,
and you have ice
ice.
all around on the outside, and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you don't have to worry about it leaking as much. 'Cause It's frozen.
So you have ice on the cold side, right? You
Yeah.
have like an ice box
Oh, yeah.
that your spaceship circulates through.
You don't even have to use pristine water. You could use the polluted water from Detroit, with all the lead in it. That would be lead plus water for even
What are you
better
going to do
shielding.
with that water exactly?
Freeze it and become a...
You want to freeze lead water.
Yeah, and it'll be all around your
Okay.
ship and as a protective.
All right, Al. I'm going to wait and see on
I
your
don't think-
spaceship, man. I'm going to see if the first crew survives.
All right, you don't have to go there. You don't have to go there. It's fine. Probably the water is just fine by So no lead. We don't need lead.
We'll see. What crystals can best create the
Survive.
spaceship that we want to play in? That's the
right.
question.
That's right.
Hey, did we forget to do our break?
Yes, we did. Why don't you go to the break? And congratulations, Bruce. He says he's out of jail. It's good.
Senior jail.
Senior jail.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
Hi, folks. Warren Knox here of Knox Roofing. I thought I'd share a few statistics with you. Do you know how long a frog can hold its breath? 4 minutes. Do you know how many nails the average roof requires? 7,000. What's the percentage of roofing companies that will be out of business after they've installed a roof? 80%. Here at Knox Roofing, we're still going strong, exceeding 15,000 homes now. Give us a call here at Knox Roofing at 461-0634. Thanks, folks.
Attention investors. This is a simple commercial on the investment value of gold. Gold continues to make new highs. In good markets and in bad markets, you need to have your portfolio balanced with gold. Learn about owning physical gold or getting a gold-backed IRA. Make this simple call right now.
800-414-1657. 800-414-1657. That's 800-414-1657.
Sponsored by Reagan Gold. We're offering a 100% risk-free gold guide. Gold continues to make new highs. And unlike stocks, gold has never been worth zero. You owe it to your nest egg and future to own some physical gold or set up a gold-backed IRA. Call right now for your free report.
800-414-1657. 800-414-1657. That's 800-414-1657.
It's high time to celebrate the opening of the new Hook Outlet Dispensary, 1129 Mission in Santa Cruz. Get in on the opening fun and really low prices on the Hook's unmatched selection of top-quality medical and recreational cannabis flower, vapes, drinks, gummies, and concentrates. The Hook Outlet is now the West Side's source for finest cannabis at the lowest prices. Get in on all the opening fun and low prices at the all-new Hook Outlet. HookOutlet.com for details and deals.
And we're back. Hi, everybody.
And we's back. All right. I hope you enjoyed your little break there.
Yeah, we sure did. We said hello to little dudette here. Don't you think dogs just make everything a little bit better?
They're always
so
happy.
sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
They seem to be. They're so unconditionally loving.
Yeah. So, all right. So where are you going to take us now, my dear?
Well, we've been to Mars. Right?
Yes.
We explored the fact that we have a level 1 confirmation of...
It might be life. It might not be life. But it might be.
Yeah. So Richard,
Newsflash of the day. Okay.
We're not really a skeptics, or we're not really...
Let's look at this Q&A about extraterrestrial architecture, since we're talking about all the uncertainties of space travel.
Well, that's the whole idea that you got to build the architecture for the environment that you find yourself in.
Uh-huh.
And that every different solar system has its own architecture.
Well, it's really cool.
Yeah. Or let's just
Oh,
make
this
it-
is the A.V. Loeb article. So
Yeah.
he is the Harvard scientist that we've been quoting the last few episodes because he was the first one to become very vocal about the fact that 3I Atlas, the interstellar traveler, was not acting like a comet. And not only was it not acting like a comet because it was too fast and it was the wrong color and the comet tail was in the wrong place. There wasn't a tail. It was a coma. He was suggesting that maybe it is an alien space probe. Now, this guy has like a job at Harvard,
That's
obviously
true, yeah.
tenured, but he's not afraid to ask the question. And so we have another little article inspired by him on his medium.com account.
Yeah, he's putting out stuff every week now. He's
And,
very excited about finding some other intelligence in the universe. And
So this is a fun little Q&A with him, and it has a great picture of what architecture on an alien world could look like with a clear atmosphere bubble dome above a gold reflective light dome inside of which would be our habitat.
yeah,
So-
I mean, it's got to be one of the most creative exercises you could do is to imagine what it would be like to live on another planet and then create a whole environment that you can live in.
So he's got a new book called
Yeah.
Chronicles of Extraterrestrial Architecture.
Yeah, it's we have it on a links page, drfutureshow.com/links if you like to get into.
Oh, I like the
get
first
into
question.
Alien architecture.
Why do you believe imagination is more important than knowledge when it comes to exploring outer space? Oh, man. Just start there, people. It's going to be a fun read.
Your knowledge is basically based on everything you've learned on this little blue dot, and that's it. And so, that's worth something, but not
Could
as much
architecture itself become a form of communication between interplanetary species? Now, my favorite polymath, Robert E. Grant, is actually a believer that the pyramids are in fact an element of a forgotten language of mathematics that was left by ancient extraterrestrials in order to communicate the universal language of knowledge to our past.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of
you
proof
know,
in that.
Yeah, a lot of people exploring that avenue. What does
Uh-huh.
it mean to be human? And what does it mean to reshape life back on Earth as a collective enterprise?
And which part of it do you find rings true to you?
Of-
the geometry of the pyramids, is that
you know
Euclidean
me.
geometry? or
I
is that-
am a math person. I like math, and I speak the language of math, and I do my best to understand what mathematicians are finding interesting about it.
phi ratio?
Yeah, the phi ratio. I became hooked when Pat Flanagan told us that the phi ratio, which is
PHI.
one of the great constants in mathematics, is the number which is used to find the harmonic musical relationship. The tone that is in harmony at every octave is the phi ratio. And when you start thinking about what that means for
Fibonacci-
reality,
Fibonacci
that means that
sequence.
there is a number in reality that connects every piece of harmony everywhere in the universe.
The golden ratio.
Yeah, that is the golden ratio,
Yeah.
is that number.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's an irrational number, approximately 1.618. It's Fibonacci. It's defined by the relationship where a line is divided into two parts such that the ratio of the whole line is to the longer segment is the same as the ratio of the longer segment to the shorter segment.
Yeah, right. Well, it's the basis of the Fibonacci numbers. Yeah,
Yeah.
like one square put next to it, there's two squares, and then that's a golden mean rectangle. And then when you take those two square rectangles and you put them rotated in a new direction, you've got those two becoming three, and the other line is a two, and the ratio remains the same, and it's a harmonic ratio. That goes off into infinity
add the
in a
last-
harmonic way.
Right. Add the last two numbers to create the next number.
So you've seen those nautilus shells, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
And how it spirals larger and larger as it gets
Yeah.
outward. And that's the
Golden,
golden mean
that's the
that
golden
goes-
spiral.
golden spiral.
Yeah, that's created if you draw an arc inside each of the squares of the golden rectangle. And you draw an arc connecting the source to the next rectangle. And then you position the next iteration so that you draw a source from that rectangle out to the next one. That's how you create the golden spiral. It's all from those initial measurements of the harmonic ratios of the squares.
And you're saying the Egyptians understood all this.
Yeah, the Egyptians encoded all of these numbers of harmony and spheres and different mathematical relationships of ratios that are significant for understanding how light emits and how sound finds resonance, and just the Fibonacci series. These are encoded in the angles and the sizes and the positions of the great mysteries like the pyramids at Giza. It takes a mathematician who is a multilingual student of human civilization to find this language.
And then it's a good idea to maybe apply it to our own architectural designs.
Sure, yeah. For me, it's a brain stretch just to even understand that it's a language. But as soon as we do get what kind of language it is, then applying it to architecture, then we're in Buckminster Fuller land. That's what he did.
Principles.
Energy architecture. Yeah. Well, thanks for including that article by Avi Loeb. I'm a big fan. Can't wait to read more.
Bobby, at the last minute today, you sent this piece on anti-aging expert about creatine. Could you
Right.
Could you tell us the significance of that
Yeah,
piece?
so that was Dr. Rhonda Patrick. You know, what she did is she took a whole list of anti-aging things that has worked for her and other people and put it in this one video. It is kind of a long video. It's almost 3 hours long,
Yeah.
but she
How do you find the
covers.
time for this?
Yeah.
All right. Well, in a summary, this video that we have links for on drfutureshow.com links, it basically summarizes some.
I think so, her first minute, they summarize it in about, why don't we just play the
Oh,
first
you're
minute?
going to play the first
Yeah,
minute?
yeah. The
Oh,
first
okay.
minute summarizes
check this
everything.
out.
Here we
This will give you
go.
an idea of this piece if you want to know more.
Why do people not know that vitamin D deficiency can increase dementia risk by 80%? Why do people not know that having a lack of this mineral is affecting their long-term risk of cancer? Why do people not know that having a low omega-3 index is as bad for you in terms of mortality as smoking? And as a scientist, I've seen firsthand that 70% of the way you're aging is actually due to your lifestyle. And all these things are so easy to do. So for example, as we age, certain areas of the brain which is involved in learning and memory starts to shrink by about 1 to 2% per year. The good news is, studies show that people being part of an exercise protocol, not only did they not have their hippocampus shrink, it actually grew by 1 to 2%. And there's more. There are other things that don't even require as much effort as exercise, like supplements. And it's been shown study after study that if you take someone and you sleep deprive them for 21 hours and give them 25 to 30 grams of creatine, not only does it negate the cognitive deficits of sleep deprivation, it makes people function better than if they were well rested. And then there's magnesium. There have been studies showing that people with the highest magnesium levels have a 40% lower all-cause mortality, and over 300 different enzymes in your body need it to help with short-term survival.
Okay, let's stop there.
Oh, boy. That's
a
some
lot,
heavy
right?
duty stuff.
Well, but exercise, we all agree with.
Exercise,
what's-
vitamin D, magnesium,
Yeah, what is it?
creatine,
Yeah. Now, do you have to take a lot of creatine?
omega 3s.
Well, you should take some at least, but if you get it in powder form, you can just add an extra scoop in your drink or whatever, and you can get like 25 grams of this stuff in your drinks, you know. So
Yeah. It's
because
25 grams as
I
opposed
was
to-
taking it in tablets, and that means I would have had to take 60 of these tablets a day. So I just went and bought it in bulk, and you just put it in your drink. You take like 5 scoops. Well, not
Yeah.
in one
Okay,
time. I
and-
take like 3 scoops a time.
Yeah, now you've been
twice
doing
a
this
day.
now for a month now? 3 scoops? 5, well, 5.
Yeah.
Each
Not
scoop's
a-
5
only-
scoops of creatine.
Yeah.
For a
And
month.
not only have I
Subtle,
noticed
right? I mean,
that
is it
my
like
muscles are bigger.
Your muscles are bigger.
Without exercising.
without
Have you
exercise.
gained
muscle-
weight?
okay.
Do you get on a scale? Did you gain weight?
The muscles weigh something?
No, but the ratio, my scale can detect muscle ratio, and I've got an excellent score for muscle, which
So
is
your
amazing.
weight stayed the same, but you have more muscle and less fat.
That's right.
Wow.
That's correct.
That's great.
It's definitely more muscle, and if I did some weight training on top of it, they would grow even more muscle.
Okay.
But what they're saying is, it's not just your muscles; it's your brain
Yeah.
that is getting better and can stave off
So
dementia.
not just your muscles, but your brain.
Yes.
Creatine. Okay. All right. Well, we've got a link to that, and we'll see. The other thing is, it takes more creatine for your brain than your muscles for creatine, right? It's like 5 times more.
Yeah, and it doesn't have much taste, and it seems to settle in the bottom of your drink. So you have to periodically stir it or put it in a shake where you have semi-solid shake so it doesn't drift down to the bottom.
It's kind of like
you know?
sand, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like white sand, but it doesn't taste like white sand. It doesn't taste like anything, actually. So.
All right. Well, that's great. Happy to hear about that. We only have a couple minutes left. Elon Musk's brother runs a drone show. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that he did a big drone show over the Vatican last week.
Oh, this is the Vatican one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 3,000 drones, specially designed for doing full color. He could do full color imagery, and he did of the past Pope. Everyone were brought to tears in the audience, coordinated with live music in the Basilica. It was a profoundly powerful presentation, both in the sky and, with the sight and sound. We're celebrating the Vatican. I think there's a big golden anniversary of there. Biggest in Europe. It was Kimbal Musk, Kimbal Musk. It's called the Nova Sky Stories. And they did the Grace for the World, the first ever concert in St. Peter's Square with drones.
I'm looking at the pictures of this. It's
Stunning, huh?
amazing. They have the Michelangelo where
touching of the hands, the creation of Adam.
The hand of God and Adam reaching
Yes.
towards each other from the
That's right.
Sistine Chapel. Yeah.
Isn't that
over
gorgeous?
the Sistine Chapel.
Oh, God.
It's like amazing.
And then,
You know, what for me was the most impressive was the way that they used the 3,000 drones to actually create a photo image of Pope John Paul as they were singing Amazing Grace. I wonder if it was ironic and intentional that the picture of Pope Paul arrived over the Vatican at the same moment as that saved a wretch like me. I wondered if that was a little ironic humor or just a little accident of fate. But
I don't know, I guess.
I always love the art of drone graphics, and this was really exceptional because it's the most photorealistic drone show I've ever seen. These drones obviously had a much higher range of color, they had a much higher resolution, and the fact they were actually able to create a photograph instead of just a line art drawing above the Vatican was pretty amazing. And they had a beautiful rendition of the mosaic tiles of some of the beautiful faces of Mary. And they had a beautiful, very detailed sculpture of the Pieta of Mother Mary holding the crucified Jesus.
Yep, a 2-hour show on multiple radio and GPS frequencies, best satellite signals available. Really used all the latest tech to make it happen. Incredible. Anyway, we got to go. It's like time.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey, that
20
was
seconds.
fun,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
tune in next week. Have a great future now.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yes.
for being here.
Thank you for listening. Thank you, Bobby, for being there.
Yeah, thank you. See you next week.
All right.
It's calling me.
See you soon. Popping out.
Bye.
It sets me free.
All right, we'll just let the music play on, and we will be gone.
Time is calling.